Individuals are angelic, they're angels, and they come to this space in order to actualize their love. In the other side, the angels love abundantly, but the things are so clear on the other side that their love is not as poignant. There's only one path and there's only one way, and it's so clear that love is the only solution for manifesting life and light. So they enter into the corporeal realm, this material realm, Earth. They enter here as a school, as a lesson, to manifest the lessons of their love, of their merciful healing. And many do this slowly. They graduate into trust and faith and self, and caring and empathy and nurturing, various stages of leading to unconditional love eventually, and sometimes it takes many lifetimes. The key is that on the other side, all wish to ascend infinitely closer and closer and closer to the frequencies of all source. And all source is, in its highest frequencies, is abundantly, unconditionally loving and broadcasts merciful healing to all creation, regardless of whether you deserve it or not. Now, many souls that don't master the frequency, the song, the cadences of unconditional love and unconditional mercy on this realm, they haven't actualized it. When they get to the other side, they feel so much shame because they're living in justice. They're not living in unconditional. So in their mind, in their sense of self, there is abundant justice burning inside, and because they carry that justice, they don't feel that they deserve it, and they torture themselves. And they manifest these realms, these virtual realities around themselves, these dimensions, in order so that they serve this point of justice, so that therefore they can feel that they can look source in the eye and, be connected to all without shame. But it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. For we are in school here in a portal of unlimited freedom. There is so many variables of choice, and we can choose any way we want. And in this playground, we get to choose the lessons we want to master. And if we choose to master unconditional love and merciful healing, which is unconditional healing and unconditional recognition, so then when we finish our lesson, when we move to the other side beyond the veil, there is no obsession over any void, because there is no void. All the lessons, everything one did, is part of infinite actualizing road, a journey in intimacy and closer to all source. There's nothing to be ashamed about, and there's no judgment, for we are all on unconditional streams. And so these paradigms of purgatory and hell, they're not relevant, and they're really not helpful at all to the lesson. And so individuals need to love themselves, love yourself unconditionally, because as you recognize and love yourself within, you will begin to discover the light embedded within each individual to love all within. And as you love all within, then you realize we're all interconnected and we're all working for each other at all times in a loving, benevolent way, and in our lessons in this school. And there's never any reason to feel alone, and there's never any reason to feel ashamed, and there's never any reason to be hard on oneself. It's just to flow in the now and the opportunities and broadcast the song of unconditional love and merciful healing, and empathically try to assist your brothers and sisters along this tier in that ascended perception. We can bring everything together very neatly without there being a need for individuals to manifest their lessons through struggle and through suffering and judgment. Source, what many of us refer to as God, has been recreated and reimagined in the image of man for millennia. And Source is far greater, far more profound, and it's infinite frequencies of benevolence and abundance and healing and love and intimacy. And so to the degree that the individual, who is a spark of that source, is a splinter of all source of God himself, to the degree that the angel comes to this world and does not master the actualized perception of unconditional love, of returning to source of high frequency, that individual is stuck in paradigms of shame and humiliation and detachment from the collective. And so individuals within that state, they create, through their intention, they create worlds around them to justify the way they feel. And they're stuck in those worlds until they hear the music behind the veil of unconditional love and mercy. The music's playing like a heartbeat all the time, and it's there all the time, but they don't recognize it because they're so focused on their venom, on their disappointment, on their self-hatred, on their anger, and on their rage and abandonment. So to the degree that the individual who's manifesting as a splinter of all source divine, to the degree that that individual keeps on manifesting that facade of a world and is unable to open up to that music of unconditional, because once they recognize the language of unconditional mercy and healing, then it's the solution they're looking for. They don't need to be in that state at all, because there are no strings attached at all. It's school. And if you learn that language, then you can abundantly co-create with all, and you can feel that you deserve it without shame, and you can join the collective legions in that higher resonance without shame. But the individuals need to go through periods often where they need to learn the language of that music. Mm-hmm. And so many languish in their own worlds until they get really, really bored and tired of torturing themselves. They hit like a state of rock bottom, and they begin to awaken, and their perception slowly, tier by tier, dimension by dimension, begins to expand and broadcast. And then many of them, they choose to come back to this space, to this world with that enhanced knowledge, so that they can actualize it, because they're still in the space of profound judgment on themselves, and they don't feel they deserve to be intimate, because you can't be intimate and have shame at the same time. There's no intimacy with shame. You can't be intimate with the frequencies of all source divine and still carry shame. And if they're still shamed for their lives and for their legacy and for what they actualize, then they ask many times to come back to this plane to continue the journey, to show that, they weren't a fastball, they were a curveball, but that curveball is still going to go over the plate and hit the strike zone. So that way, when they return, they can have the pride of knowledge that, yes, I've actualized the higher frequencies of all source on the material realm where I had freedom, and so I deserve everything I'm getting now. But truly everyone deserves anything regardless. It doesn't need to be of that ilk in perception, but nevertheless, for a long time, the evolution of religions and the way people understood things, that was a necessary way how people chose to progress. They felt it was the healthiest way to progress, but it needn't be so. All are benevolent, all are chosen, all carry a unique song that needs to be learned along this tier, and if we don't learn it through our intimacy with these frequencies of truth, then we begin to learn those same lessons from the void of not having those frequencies of truth in our life, and that causes the chaos that we go through in order to learn the lessons of life that are missing. And so Hitler was a good example for Hitler did model, he modeled profound darkness. So through understanding Hitler, then you better understand the light. So he plays a very important role.
Right.
Even though we could look at it, well, he's evil, but he played a role in the drama of the school to graduate. So if Hitler were to graduate in perception and get beyond his shame and realize that for the collective he still played a profound role. There was a great jump in the world's evolution after the events that he did, and then maybe even Hitler could graduate beyond the dimension that he created around himself of languishing in shame and feeling repulsed by who he is. And so it needn't be that way. It needn't be so.